Is this even legal? What the frick? This feels illegal. What's up, bros and girl loads? Girl loads. Hey, girl loads. New movie review podcast. Click, 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 clickety, clack, clack, clack. Nobody gives a shit. It's fine. Have you ever read Chilling Tales for Dark Nights? It's been a long time. Who knows? What's up, guys? How's it going? So notice your streams are getting later. You're going to have to pop in earlier to have that sleep time. I know, dude. It's so stupid because because I changed it and made that announcement. I don't know what happened. Like the amount of people that get notified of the stream is like next to null because of the slight change. Yeah, I was busy hacking the data centers. So it's like now going back to the normal time, it doesn't even really matter. Who cares? Whatever. 6:15 in Pakistan. Nice, dude. How's Pakistan treating you? Staying safe? Staying sober? You better be. Allah is watching. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you've drank bacon grease. So streams are normal again? No, I don't fucking know, dude. I mean, I would have started earlier. I just get so busy with random shit. Like this past couple of streams, like my buddy, him and his oldest daughter have like karate, and then they just drops on me that he's like, hey, can you babysit my, because his dad is busy with something. So I'm like, yeah, sure. And it just becomes a 2-hour process. And then like the late night routines that I would normally, or like the pre-stream routines, then start 2 hours later. And it's just, you know how it goes. Anyways, I saw the movie Obsession. And it was good. It's kind of funny. I like jokingly, the one stream was like, oh, I just got a death threat from my girlfriend. I don't know why that sounded like a funny thing to say. And then now I get a text message saying, congratulations on your girlfriend. It's like, alright, no. Heard good things about Obsession. Yeah, dude, I didn't even realize that kid, what's his name? Curry, which is a really funny name. Curry. What's up, Curry? His name's Curry, last name Chicken, and Obsession was good. Honestly, the best part about Obsession is that it just literally makes you feel uneasy throughout the entire thing. What's up, Rooster? How we doing? Wait, what? Joel got a death threat from his ex? No, I'm never gonna make a joke again. Ever in the stream ever again. I don't know. I guess it doesn't really make sense because what seems like sarcasm in my head, I realize doesn't really translate to like a no context communication, and it doesn't. Who fucking cares? Doesn't even matter. Anyways, guys, we got stories about betrayal and all that stuff. This is the most serious stream you've ever been to in your life. Everybody needs to lock in, listen, put your listening ears on, put your listening diaper on so you can shit yourself and really pay attention. No is a full sentence, like having the clock in a job, kind of, right? Oh, for baby. No, it's like, I mean, I can't say no to, because it's not like a frequent thing, and it is fun, you know what I mean? It's like I'm pretty much secondary grandpa. Anyways, guys, what do you guys, anybody going to see the back rooms? I'm going to see it tomorrow. Seeing Obsession was part of the I pinned the movie review podcast I'm doing on the Patreon. The first episode was The Exorcist, but the next episode after that, which we'll be recording probably out by June 5th, will be about Obsession, so could be sweet. Happy Wednesday. Uncle Foof. Yeah. Just subscribe to Patreon. Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate that. Yeah, let me know, guys, if you do listen to the movie review podcast, I want your honest opinions on stuff. Please leave comments about things that might annoy you or things that you liked or things, you know what I mean? Because we will adjust for that. Very thankful for the support. Meet me in the back rooms. I'm bringing hummus. I'll bring the carrots. You're going to listen to it after the stream. Thank you. Yeah, and hopefully the audio sounds good because, you know, obviously it's a couple different microphones coming together. So if there's anything we need to change there. How often are you doing the movie reviews? It's going to be every other week. So every 2 weeks we'll have seen a movie and gotten together to talk about it for an hour or two. The first episode's like 2 hours. I feel like I actually had a lot of stuff in it. Sick nasty. Hell yeah. The sickest, the nastiest. My tripping doesn't come out on the 29th. Obsession? No, Obsession's already out. Maybe you're thinking of Backrooms. But I think Backrooms comes out tomorrow. At least there's some showings and stuff. Stuff and things. My fave flav. Can we pay to suggest a movie reel? Yeah. Leave comments and the thing to suggest what we watch next, because basically there's 3 of us and we just rotate through who picks the movie, and then it's going to be primarily horror movies. It was kind of funny last stream, somebody said you should review Eastbound and Down. Still a good show, just not necessarily horror. Oh, Backrooms already came out where you're at, Beth? Interesting. Beth is in the future. What's up, Jackie Chan? I feel like a long time no see. Have you ever seen The Nun? I have not seen The Nun. That's honestly one of the scarier... Oh wait, I think I may have actually seen The Nun, but I was half paying attention during it. I feel like somebody got lit on fire. You have to up your Patreon tier. Yeah, you don't have to, guys. There's no pressure to. It's just something I wanted to do, and I was like, well, I'll just add it to Patreon. Joel doesn't watch movies, you guys. This is the first time, so give him a good... It's true. This is the first time I've ever seen a movie in my life. It is kind of weird, because I've been listening to, interviews from that guy Curry, the director of, Obsession and various other things. And it's just weird. It's just a young guy, just has a good instinct for film, and he's just absolutely ripping and tearing, just killing it. And I'm like, man, that has got to be such a good feeling. The Nun was very predictable, wasn't my favorite of mine. Okay, yeah. World War Z, that's a solid one. Is that horror though? Should do video game reviews. Maybe. It's just finding the time to burn through a video game. I know sometimes video games can take 20 plus hours, 30 hours. I remember beating Red Dead 2. It was just the main story quest, wasn't that 30 hours? Which is crazy. Have you ever played at exclamation point? No, what is it? Oh, there's one coming out. Do you guys know what it is? It's basically Reanimal Little Nightmares, but it's you have guns. I forgot that was coming out because I thought it was just Reanimal. But it's from some of the same people that made that. And it's kind of a survival horror related thing. Sarah, thank you for the 2. Victor Crowley, Hatchet, watch it. Yes, can you email me that? Just because it's you, Joel, I will have my tears still. Blame Joel. Thank you, Pastel. Yeah, no pressure either way, guys. Thank you, guys. Please, like I said, please give me your honest feedback when you listen. Really would love to, honor all that. Sinister, yeah, Sinister's a good one. Sinister was one of those ones that really stuck with me. Like, there's something about anything related to, like, demons. I'm very spooked by the demonic. I only stray strictly horror, but it is weird as fuck, disturbing, and kind of a mind warper. Vivarium, oh yeah, I have seen that one, actually. With, Mark Zuckerberg's twin. It was good. I mean, or, well, it was interesting, I guess. Some bullshit to do with aliens. Me and my dog snacking edamame and listening. Let's freaking go. Your dog can have a little bit of edamame as a treat. Also, Robin's got a new loop that is done. He sent it to me. It looks awesome. He may have seen me show it on my Instagram story, so be sure to check that out. I'll probably debut that on June 3rd on my birthday stream. What's up, Be Like That? How you doing, bro? Good to see you. Guys, thanks for being here. Click like, click share, click whatever you can. Just click it all. We got quite a few stories here tonight related to being betrayed. I don't know. If you can think of any good titles for this, it's basically stories about getting betrayed. Obsession will keep you single. That's true. I feel like there were a lot of, like, interpretations from random people. Like a very strange consensus towards the interpretation of obsession. Like, you know what I mean? Trying to find meaning in it or metaphor or whatever. And I'm just like, nah, I don't know. The metaphor or the meaning that they found in it, I don't really think it applied given the context and stuff. Hereditary bothered me. That movie was too intense for me. It would, yeah. Hereditary was a very intense watch, and I do enjoy that it has a lot of, like, deep hidden lore to it. You would have related to 2% of the girl in that movie. I think a solid 2%. Sounds pretty on point. Especially related to duct tape. Did I like Midsummer? I didn't like Midsummer as much as Hereditary. I feel like it could have used a lot more. No, I want to retract that statement. I felt like I remember I had a friend who said that the Midsummer director's cut is a completely different story compared to what you got in theaters, which is kind of strange to think that somehow with just some added scenes it can, like, make things completely different. But I don't know. There was a lot of moments in that movie where I just felt like it was very, like, unrealistic. Like, there's nothing I hate more in movies whenever people react unrealistically to how, just, you know, for the sake of the plot. And I get that it kind of has to happen, and it's a nitpicky thing. Trying to convert your coworker to Joelism. Let's go, bro. Get him in here. Get him into the Buttersakians. Do you drink caffeine? If so, coffee or energy drinks? I'm kind of mainly on the coffee. I kind of backed away from energy drinks a while ago, but I started drinking Celsius again. You know, just casually. But then I also heard somebody say that the B12 or something in Celsius is derived from human feces. So I was like, oh, all right, give me my shit water. I'll drink it. Tastes good. What coffee do I drink? It's just whatever. Literally anything with freaking tree goop. Celsius is so bad. For you, or, like, taste? Because taste, I mean, it's just, I don't know. To me, it tastes like every other, like, synthetic fucking bullshit. I've been, like, if it's blue, like, ever since I was little, if it's blue and purple, that's what I'm drinking. Hey, Roki the Fur, welcome back for a year. Maybe Roki and his big dollary dues will be interested in the movie review podcast. Pinned at the top. It gives you palpitations, so that's totally fair. Probably don't want to drink that then. I don't know, maybe I'm getting them, I don't even realize. Man, I hate the rise of these AI voice channels. Now I'm second guessing every audio-only video I hear. Thankfully, I found you before the AI wave. It does upset me because I had gotten comments related to me being AI. It's like being people saying I take steroids, even though clearly I don't. Yeah, but I promise I'm natty as hell. You'd love to see my cat. You can go on my Instagram. I have a new post of my cat doing a silly ear thing at letsread.official on Instagram. It's like the only social media I really have. I use caffeine gum and it works pretty well without the jitters or tummy upset. Oh, that does sound good. Joe, if you could be any aquatic creature, what would you be and why? Definitely the orca whale, right? Probably one of the smartest seafaring mammals. They hunt in packs. They have their own like regional dialects. And yeah, I don't know. They have they have a spiritual connection to the humans. You know, I think it was made by a First Nations tribe probably 1,200 years ago. Probably 1,200 years ago. I don't actually know for complete certain, but Roki, thank you for the 5 gifters to Caterpillar Babe, Goody Goody Gumdrop, Shelby Dogo, Slip Trick, and Nick Sadowski. Welcome, friends. You now have access to bonus content here on YouTube. Don't you ever go air? What's air? A-I-R. Anal in rear. I'm not sure. Orcas are the bullies of the ocean. Yeah, you know, but that's the thing. Is like, what the fuck? What would I want to be? A puffer fish? And then get, like, fucked by a dolphin? You know? I feel like orcas can do everything a dolphin can do, but bigger. And harder. Shark. I don't know. I like sharks, honestly. I just don't have a lot of respect for sharks. I honestly would not be surprised if for some reason at some point we find out that sharks are just like abstractly like drones. Like just basically cleaning like vicious cleaning drones that exist within the ocean to basically, like if you were to look at the ocean as a permeable membrane of your cell, where when things enter your cells, like the killer T cells or some type of immune system aspect suddenly goes and investigates and decides whether it should attack it or cleans up dead debris. That's kind of what I look at like sharks as, like just kind of these mindless drones that exist solely to like investigate intruders that shouldn't be there and devour, you know, dying whales and shit of that nature, right? You know, so but yeah, the killer whales absolutely fucking destroy any shark in its path. I don't know, there's something very spiritual I feel connected to with orcas. Same with orangutans, and maybe Bigfoot. Not the megalodon. Do you think megalodons are still around? Thanks for distracting you on a sad birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Flint. Everybody say happy birthday to Flint. Give them a kiss on the forehead and nose. Just saw a video saying there's an isolated towns in the USA that are still living in 1950 that never seen an iPhone or the outside world. In fact, they're a complete information blackout ever since. Huh. Wonder where that's at. Do you know? I mean, I've heard of the Amish, but as soon as I learned orangutans weren't orangutans, my life was orangutans. Oh, it's not orangutans? It's just orangutan? Orangutan. Why Bigfoot? I don't know, because they're basically time travelers or whatever David Paulides says. Do you ever find something out that you wish you hadn't? I have, and let me tell you, it ain't pretty. I want to just say first up, even though I know you're not listening, Mom, I don't blame you for telling me this. You did the right thing in telling me, even though I wish that you'd never had to. But good God, I gotta get this off my chest, and I figured sending in a story to the internet anonymously is as good a way as any to do that. And please do keep me anonymous. It all started out around 6 months ago. Well, I guess it started when I was born, but we'll get to that. My mom, God love her, was diagnosed with breast cancer a couple of years ago. She's doing good at the moment, it's in remission, but it led her to think about mortality a lot lately. And I guess word of her diagnosis also go back like tepe. It got back to go black like tepe. That'd be really funny if Donald Trump started talking about go blickly dipply. They're talking about go blickly dip bliplu. Go blickly tip tepe. They're digging it up, they're looking around. I'm not allowed to see it, they don't even let me in there. Pretty much just black rock. Just black rock, always black rock. It's 30 degrees Celsius here in the UK. That's 86 degrees Fahrenheit in the US. Is that hot to you guys too? Yeah, it's definitely hot if you don't have, like that's how much it was here today, but we have air conditioning. We're not a bunch of freaking savages. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I know the UK doesn't have any AC, so you're just kind of like miserably existing in your stagnant humidity. Googly tippy. She told me not to play with... She go back lead on my tippy till I excavate. 86 is damn near cold in Florida. I know, right, dude? You go to Florida, people are wearing sweaters with 66 degree weather. And I guess word of her diagnosis also go back to my birth father, who I haven't seen since I was 13 months old. And so I get this Facebook message from a profile I'm not friends with, but I know who it is immediately. It was my biological dad, or at least someone pretending to be him. I can recognize him from the name, even though I never took his surname, and from the handful of photos I've seen of him. It was my biological dad, or at least someone pretending to be him. I can recognize him from the name, even though I never took his last name, and from the handful of photos I've seen of him. Now curious, I accepted the message request, even though all Mom would ever say about him was that he was a bad POS and there was no chance that I'd hear from him ever again. Well, I guess she got that wrong, because there I was talking to my dad on Facebook. He was asking about Mom, said that he'd heard about her diagnosis, only 18 months late. Good one, Dad. Now he made some noise suggesting that he was genuinely interested in her health, although I could tell that he wasn't. And then he got to the real purpose of messaging me. Did I want to resume contact with him, maybe? Perhaps get to know him? Well, at this point I still didn't exactly know why he was a POS, as she said, just that he supposedly was, and so I told him that I'd need to think about it. I figured if he was genuine, he'd be fine with it. He was, sort of. He said that was okay, and then added, but don't take too long. I think he was trying to imply that he had some health scare going on, and the whole way he talked, it was like those people who love implying mystery and drama and want you to ask about it rather than coming out and saying it. I could already tell that my biological dad was not someone that I would get along well with. I just needed a good reason to tell him no. Naturally, the first person I told that bio-dad had reached out to me was my mom, and the look of horror on her face said it all. At first, all she said is no, 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 no. Do not talk to that man. But then I told her, as gently as I could, that I needed more. It wasn't that I didn't trust her, not at all. But after... The Pacific Northwest is finally okay for me because it's hot over here. Yeah. It's heating up, folks. If a fish, I'd be like, where are the blowfish? Yeah. The pocket pussies of the sea. Betrayal is very bomboclat. Actually, most of western Washington Estate doesn't have AC unless homes are newer. Really? You can't just, like, get a window unit or something? Delete what I just said? What did I say? Did I say something bad? Your pepperonis are sweating. Straight drooping, dog. Bugfoot are Nephilim's red-haired stepchildren. Exactly. That's what I've been screaming that from the mountaintops for years. Missing 411. What would you say to someone who told you, I love you, but I'm not in love with you? Are they saying that out of nowhere, or Nurse Joel, help. My throat is dying. Alright, Hannah, here's your next steps. And it's up to you whether you respect my advice. First, I would gargle. We'll do a warm salt. Warm shart gargle. A warm salt gargle. And do that probably, I guess, like every 3 hours or whatever. But then on top of that, I need you to go out to the store, send your beloved husband. We know who he is, we know his name. He's in here somewhere, he's hiding. To go to the CVS or Walgreens or Walmart or whatever and get make sure you don't swallow the salt gargle, just spit it out. Anyways, he's doing dishes. Okay, tell him you got a task, you got a quest, a side quest for 10 kisses on the cheek. Basically, there's this thing called Zicam, and it's like a zinc supplement that you like put, like as soon as you start to feel symptoms of like a sore throat or whatever. It's really helped me. You let that dissolve in the mouth, and to me it really expedites the process of being sick. And if you have a sore throat, it might just be a reaction to, like, you know, a buildup of bacteria that's back there. So if you can kind of like dry out that bacteria. Is my gym doing better? Yeah, it's in such a good spot right now once I put a good person. Zicam, oh yeah, so Zicam, I think Zicam, Zicam girl. Yeah, no worries. I think I got my one trainer turned me on to it, and it's been a lifesaver. Hopefully it works for you. But I think, just so you're aware, when you do take Zicam, you have to like wait a little while before you drink anything afterwards, and Joel, that was literally so clinical. It's amazing to see you work as a leading boy nurse. That's true. The leading dress-wearing, roller skates having nurse at the hospital. I would just come down. I would literally like down the hallways on my little blades. I had roller blades, not skates, actually. And I would just, as I would do my rounds, I knew exactly what everybody needed, and I would just like have a little pill gun that I would shoot into like patients' open mouths. I love you, but I'm not in love with you means I have no sexual interest in you, but I hope you will stick around to support me emotionally and financially. Oh, like someone, like your wife came up and said that to you randomly. What is people's problems? Like, why do they feel, like, I don't understand how people can just wake up and like have random, like, fluctuating emotions for one day and just be like, okay, I'm bored of this marriage. And because there's really no consequences for me destroying it, I'm just going to act like a child and make everything terrible for the next fucking 10 years. The guy who did the 411 books just released a new Bigfoot movie as of late and has 3 missing 411 movies like the books. A fun way to pass the time. Or Never the House after getting too spooked. Yeah, he was also on Joe Rogan recently. Sounds like your wife's boyfriend. I know, he's getting out of hand. I rarely get to catch the live chat readings, chilling and playing Resident Evil. Oh yeah, I saw there was an advertisement for a new Resident Evil movie, but it looked more like Silent Hill than like Resident Evil. I don't know, it was just really weird. It was a movie that did not look like Resident Evil at all, and I'm just like, okay, hold on a second. Movies are notorious for like misinterpreting the storylines of like actual really popular video game series. And I guess we don't know it till we know it, but that one, like this Resident Evil, was just, something seemed very off. It sucks, Ern, it happens, but you are better off without them because you deserve someone who's in love with you too. I mean, yeah, but it's just so weird because like some people just like wake up 15 years into a marriage and are just like, okay, never mind, you know what I mean? And what the fuck is someone that's like 15 years into a marriage and their spouse that they've known forever, thought they were going to spend their life with, have kids with, all that shit, have a house together, a dog, maybe a hamster, maybe a little garden, maybe a weird toy bin. What the fuck are they, like, what are they supposed to go out and get hot, like look hot again? No, your hot years are done, bro. You're done looking hot. These are your fat and gross years sometimes. Not always, but usually. And it's like you're just supposed to like casually, like, I mean, the likelihood of finding someone that loves you in the first place is like rough. How the fuck are you supposed to do it after a whole nother existence? I love you, but I'm not in love with you as a prelude to I'm looking for something that is better suited. It's something I'm ashamed to admit I've used when I'm done, but thinking about their feelings. I mean, yeah, if you're just like dating, but I mean, if someone's like married, it's just like, fuck, man, what was the whole point of any of that? The whole vows, all that kind of stuff. Joe, I've been married 21 years, it can happen. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, no, believe me, man, I know it can happen. It fucking happens like 65% of the time, apparently. What's up, Adriangola? Right, Nephilim. Yeah, when you've been in love with a Nephilim for 15 years and they just up and go through a portal. My mom reminded me that I've been single for 5 years now when I'm stuck on 3 years single this entire time. Thanks, Mom, for letting me know that I've been single this long. Yeah, there's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, maybe there's really nothing to be ashamed of. Like, I mean, are you doing things you like to do? Are you trying maybe new things? Then I think, you know, you're living a normal human existence. Probably better than a homeless guy under a bridge drinking out of a little bottle who smells and is gross and nobody wants to touch. Marriage is the ultimate scam against men. It baffles me why men even fall for it, honestly. Well, sometimes I think men, honestly, in a lot of weird ways, are like strangely like more romantic than women. I don't know what it is, but like every man I've met, they seem like to have more of a romanticized version of like what is, you know, going to happen for them in a relationship than the opposing perspective. And I don't know. It's, yeah, I don't know. I've talked about it a million times in the stream. You know, some people make it work, some people don't. And that is how it goes. Your wife hates your romantic gestures. Wonder why. I wonder what the resentment is. Maybe it's like, do you smell different or something? Have you ever heard of allergic reactions by fruits? I always eat berries, but this time I ate frozen berries and my face turned quite red and itchy. Maybe there's like the pesticides or something sprayed on it. Were they like organic or were they like pre-sprayed? You might need to like maybe wash them. Sometimes I think the pesticides can just like sit in there in the frozen mess. I was married and I was coercively controlled. Someone comes along when you're ready. Yeah, I don't know, bro. It's tough stuff. 5 of us watched a man as big as Barbie or G.I. Joe. It fucking dance sex in a window that people, an old couple we saw him go. Are you talking about Bigfoot still? What the fuck are we talking about? Can we get married, but we also gotta live in different houses than our own houses, you know? Maybe we hang out and do cool shit, but then go home, see you later. Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever you want, which is pretty cool. You got free will for the most part, unless you're like North Korean. My mom goes an anaphylactic shot from melons only sometimes. Weird. Wonder why. I always say she ain't yours, it's just your turn. I mean, it really comes down to just like, do you both have like do you both share like a similar philosophy? That's why sometimes I kind of wonder, are really the only successful ones like the religious types? You know what I mean? The ones that like made their vows and anticipations and perceptions of reality based on some sort of shared religious, cultural, societal expectation, you know? Hey, Michelle Bell, thank you for the 4. I don't know why the notification is just perma-screwed, but I blame it on Hollywood and how they present marriage to be. I mean, it's probably social media's fault, because now one of the biggest like terrors to like relationships are the fact that people get on it, they see someone with like a huge following, and then they see that they can like maybe have like a better life And then at any moment, someone can be in their, like, DMs, like, just fucking shit up. Destroying the home. Just to get a nut. Just to get a chestnut. Realistically, on both ends, if you get comfortable and stop trying for each other, you ruin the whole... Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to, like, just for your own mental health is... Just stay in shape, look good for each other, do your best. You know, basically just, like, continuously date. And try to make the best of it. Thank you again, Michelle. In regard of men who are financially stable and feel they are ready to share it and have a family, but feminists are a pet hate of mine. Marriage is seen as temporary now, whereas it used to be for life. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's once again the prenup situation, or, I don't know, I wonder if anybody would want to just, like, you know, just date forever. Like, do you really need to get the government involved in your shit? I mean, is that really necessary? Like, unless you're, like, trying to get them to come over from another country or something for citizenship or whatever. Joel, the PSYOP one and have divided men and women enough to be divided. For sure, dude. For sure. It sucks. Seems like we all hate each other, but I don't hate you guys. Do you guys hate? Is your heart filled with hate? My abusive ex-husband tried to kill me twice, left me for my best friend, and she died mysteriously 15 months later. No kidding. I'm sorry about that. That's fucked. I'm glad you're free of it, though, but Jesus Christ, I'm very sorry about all of that. I have a friend who went to the army and literally saw him last year pulling 2 girls to his apartment after we met at a club. Are they was he married? I'm confused. Do you guys believe in Los Angeles? Okay, so I tried to tell a guy I was interested and he said that we didn't feel the same sentiment. We're still cool friends, so I'm good with that. Yeah, it sounds fine. I got a heart tattoo with the... Sorry, I should probably read a story, huh? What the fuck am I doing? It wasn't that I didn't trust her. Not at all. But after all these years, I'd really like to have a reason to tell the man whose DNA I shared to just go kick sand. Mom looked like she was about to argue, and then she kind of deflated and said that, yeah, she guessed that I did have every right to know. And it's not like I was a little boy now. I was a grown man who was about to start a family of his own, and it was probably for the best if I knew that the... Got any relationship horror stories tonight? If there are betrayals in here, there probably is something to do with relationships. Bro, I'm just sub-listening to you. A bunch of work could say pee pee poo poo caca. No worries, brother. Thank you for subscribing. Love you. Appreciate you. Let's make the world a better place. Right on. Did you ever see those, like... I actually don't even know if those artists actually exist, but it's like those European art... You know, it's always like the lyrics in like European IDM or EDM stuff. Like, let's make it all super great. Boom, 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 boom. If only we fill the world with love. No more anger. That's my advice. And it's not like I was a little boy now. I was a grown man who was about to start a family of his own, and it was probably for the best if I knew why my biological father was just a piece of crap. And so the short version, he was going to kill me when I was just a year old. Now the slightly longer version, because that's not very satisfying, my bio dad was a player. He slept around and never intended to settle down. Mom was young when she hooked up with him, and in her words, it was foolish and naive, and bio dad, being the kind of man that he was, didn't use protection and relied on Mom to take the morning after pill. She did, but it didn't work, and thus I was conceived. My biological father swore that he'd do right by her, and before I was born, they were married. And at first, things seemed like they were gonna go just fine. Dad seemed to settle down as a person, and I was born a healthy baby boy, exactly 7 pounds, and an easy delivery. It took 6 months for Dad to go back on his old ways. It's too political now. I miss the Terry Wogan days. Who's Terry Wogan? I've never been in a relationship or even my marriage to where I wasn't cheated on. Maybe it's me. I've never been in a relationship or even my marriage to where I wasn't cheated on. Oh, word, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just not in like the human way, you know? Do you think there will be another lockdown in the future, and is your plan to go through it the second time around? Me, indoor gym, and endless video games and anime. I mean, I don't know. I feel like if they do have like another virus made in a lab somewhere or whatever the fuck they want to do, like, they need to make it count this time, as bad as that is to say. Like, this one has to have me bleeding from the fucking eyes, you know? I just don't think the same old sort of concept is going to work on people the same way. Especially with like this much time for like people to like dig up information and follow data and all that kind of stuff. Joel Cannon now said mental health police stopping citizens who were snitched on. Related to mental health? What do you mean? I'm talking about Eurovision Song Contest. He's an old British classic radio. Oh, yeah. It took 6 months for Dad to go back to his old ways. According to him, he just couldn't help it. He needed more than one woman, but he still wanted to stay married to Mom and be a father to me. She just kinda had to compromise by letting him be the free spirit he was born to be, I suppose. Now obviously she said no, and after a few months of biological dad monogamy giving... Give me a cookie if I get through all the stories. Okay, you got it. No, obviously, she said no, and after a few months of bio-dad giving monogamy a half-assed try, Mom caught him with another woman yet again and threw him out. Now the next part, she wouldn't really tell me the details, only that she was forced to stay with her brothers after discovering that Dad had a plan to place a Wagyu Eric trick. I feel like I'm so bad at reading that name, but thank you so much for the 5. How you been? Put this in your pipe and smoke it. Thank you, thank you. My household famous quote for the divorce trial with my abusive ex was, I figured if he kept sleeping with men, I could too. If that tells you anything about why some people need a divorce. I mean, yeah, I feel like if you were secretly gay the whole time, that would make some sense. I remember I worked with a guy who was like a nurse. Well, he was a nursing assistant, but he had like multiple kids and was in the army and had a wife or whatever, but then was just like secretly gay, you know, the whole time. And then I was like, so you just went through the process of having a wife and all this stuff, but were secretly gay? And he's like, yeah, it's just how it was. And I was like, why do you like dudes so much? And he was like, they're just rougher, you know? They're just manly and rough. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, that's sick. In the UK, the NHS has Palantir involved. You have to go opt out so they don't sell your data and personal health information. It could potentially give your children problems in life as things are. Didn't you say your friend is like that? Which friend's that? What are we talking about? It's important to live your truth. Stop hurting other people with your baggage. Yeah, it seems difficult. The next part, she wouldn't really tell me the details, only that she was forced to stay with her brothers after discovering that Dad had a plan in place. Goddamn. The next part, she wouldn't really tell me the details, only that she was forced to stay with her brothers after discovering that Dad had a plan in place to kidnap and kill me as revenge for being thrown out. Supposedly his plan was foolproof and he's never even been suspected of the crime. Supposedly his plan was foolproof and he'd never even... Why is this hard? Don't ignore you? I don't ignore you, what'd you say? You demand my counsel. Supposedly his plan was foolproof, and he'd never even be suspected of the crime. But considering Mom somehow found out, then... What the fuck? Why is this so hard to read? Supposedly his plan was foolproof, and he'd never even be suspected of the crime. But considering Mom somehow found out, then I imagine he would have been busted within minutes. It scared Mom enough, though, that she took me and hid out with her brothers, who apparently would have beaten him within an inch of his life if he'd come even close to me, and I'm very glad that he never did. As an epilogue, I blocked him on Facebook that same day, and I've never heard from him again. What's up, May? Your friend that's married to a woman with kids, but he's low-key into dudes. For his friend that's married to a woman, but he's low-key into dudes. Did I say that? Who's that? Justin? I'm trying to think who did I say was into dudes? Oh, you said hi 4 times. I'm sorry, Lottie. Sorry, guys. Sometimes the chat moves and I just don't even see it. Being gay is an issue. The issue is trying to kill someone you married to cover it up so your secret doesn't get out or they don't leave you be yourself. Dude, there's this one dude that's fucking, like, I hate him. I hate him so much. He fucking stares at me the entire, like, so I work out at Planet Fitness, right, with my trainer. And he just, this fucking guy, just fucking won't stop staring at me all the time. And I literally, and it makes me feel probably how women feel when I stare at them all fucking the entire time. But no, like, this dude just, like, he will not, it's literally the mirror, yeah. It's my reflection in the toilet. Like, what are you looking at? I'll fucking kill you. I'm just like barking and like spitting against the mirror. That'd be so fucking funny. I'm just like a dog. All right. Anyways, but does he look gay? He looks a little gay. He looks gay, but not like that gay. But like he looks like that secret. You know what I mean? Like the secret gays, the secret service of gays, which I guess is like all of the CIA and stuff. They're all gay. But they might not they don't tell you this in school, but everybody in the CIA is gay. But no, anyways, like, he just stares at me the whole fucking time. And it's just that feeling you get when you literally can't tell if someone wants to rape you or kill you, or maybe both. And that is the feeling that I get from him every fucking time. Everywhere I go, every angle, it's like his eyes are locked on me, like the girl from Obsession. And I just want to fucking pull his fucking pants down, suck his cock. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to fucking tell him to buzz off, bucko. Is your scary story up next? Yeah, it's coming. I'm ready for it, bro. Just walk up and ask him what his deal is. Nah, it's one of those things where it's just like there's a plausible deniability that if I freak out, he'll just be like, do I look gay? I don't think I look gay. I mean, I know gay guys like me, but like, I mean, don't gay guys like every dude? You know, not every dude. But you know what I mean? Like, obviously, gay guys are going to have a plethora of like options to choose from within like the male market, or like, you know, ones that they're attracted to. They're going to like the ones that look like little ballerinas. They're going to like the ones that look like their uncle. They're gonna like the ones that look like themselves. Like, you got quite a few options, but unfortunately this one has chosen me. I don't know. You can just tell when someone's eyes, like there's something in someone's eyes where it's just, it's fucking, it's predatorial. It's predacious. Just stop wearing your I know, that's probably my issue, is I wear too much makeup. And yeah, booty shorts. And a crop top. Fucking freaks. Look away. Hey, let's read. First, Let me just say you're my favorite creepy story narrator by far. You might recognize me from the comments section, so I won't say exactly who I am, but I comment on quite a few videos, and I always remember thinking, I hope I never have a reason to write into Joel about myself. Well, about 4 months ago, I had a reason, and that reason was someone named Robbie. I work as a barista at a big chain coffee shop, and I've been with the company for a few years, but only started working at the store that I'm at now around 6 months ago. And that's when I met Robbie. Robbie was kind of a stereotype, really, and the type of dude who might make you roll your eyes a bit. He was quite vocally feminist, claimed to dabble with communism, and had a trust fund but worked as a barista to keep himself busy, quote-unquote. However, he was also very flamboyantly campy, and he pulled off the stereotype with a wink and a smile that couldn't help but make you laugh along with him. And within 2 days of knowing him, he was asking me for advice on how he should propose to his boyfriend. Now, he also had the nickname of RoboCop, ironically, because he was the least strict dick. Gay guys have been into me and have been giving me compliments to staring. I totally understand what you mean. Yeah. I don't know. I wish, yeah. It's like, it's got to be interesting. Like, I honestly, like, I'm, in my mind, I'm like, this literally must be what drives women crazy. To be stared at in that manner by that, like, I'm just imagining, what if there was, like, clones of that guy? 2,000 clones. But literally since I was way younger, just fucking, just drooling and growling. It would fucking drive me insane. I'd never feel safe. Hitsubasa with 41 months, as my cat Zelda wanted to tell Pretty. Meow, meow. Give him a big old kiss, would you? What's up, JB? How you doing? And at the time I had 2 gay roommates, but this dude really creeped me out, yeah. You drool over my voice. You guys are, honestly, I think women are kind of allowed to, like, drool and be as creepy as they really want, because they're not, because it would be pretty difficult for them to kill someone, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not on the menu for the most part. But I think when it comes to the opposing perspective, I can kind of understand. I mean, I guess you could poison my oatmeal or something. I remember a man come up to me when I was like 10. Yeah, it's fucking scary shit. Creepy women are creepy too. They can absolutely hit you with a car. Oh, that's a good point. Those are quite large, and they do it a lot, even unintentionally. Oh, what the fuck was that? Something in my house? He also had the nickname RoboCop, ironically, because he was the least strict shift manager you'd ever meet. I just found a lot to like about him, despite certain aspects that would normally not be my kind of person. Now, we worked together for 2 months and became fast friends. Robbie, myself, and a few of the other baristas started going out for drinks together most weekends, and I even joined their little D&D group. I know. Now, I won't bore you by talking about my character. I never thought that I'd be a TTRPG gal, but I could talk about my orc barbarian pole dancer for days. Now, I met Robbie's boyfriend, Dan, and it was pretty clear that the two of them were truly in love. He wasn't there often, but occasionally he'd join us for drinks at our favorite bar, and when he did, he and Robbie couldn't be parted with a crowbar. Now, the only slightly weird thing was how often Dan would refer to Robbie as devilish and one to keep an eye on. Apparently, Robbie would sweep you off your feet in a heartbeat, although I didn't think that I had anything to worry about with, you know, having girl parts and whatnot, and Robbie being very much into the other type. On top of bragging about him, what an irresistible... Lynn, thank you for the gifter to Davro Phoenix. Welcome, Davro. You thought Joel was in a relationship? Nah, she tried to hit me with a car. Now she's in jail. Haha. Women can be creepy because they generally aren't threatening. When a guy stares, you don't know their intent. It could be, hey, she's cuter. I'm going to assume her later. Women don't know. Egg Snackly. You got options. Hey, Stylish. Good to see ya. What's up, Cod Boy? How we doing? I don't know how you get through these stories whilst on live stream. I literally don't. It takes me freaking 3 to 4 hours every time. Have you ever read any of your personal stories? Some stuff in the past. Hey, C-Money. Damn, man, I didn't get a notification. How much did I miss? You missed 1 hour. I don't know. YouTube just randomly decided to, like, not notify, like, 100 people. 100, like, literally 100 more people are normally in the chat by this point, but it just completely changed it. Hey, Gabby, what's going on? Jose. Back to back to back. 1993, 1994. Stinky Finger Champion. Hey, Joe, hope you've been well. It's been a long time since the tunes. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, haters. What's going on? All right. On top of bragging about what an irresistible guy his boyfriend was, Daniel also made it clear that Robbie was supposedly the world's best cook. One night when we're all out for cocktails, he made Robbie promise to invite me over to dinner sometime soon, and I was only too happy to oblige. Now, I assumed it would be one of those things where promises get made and never followed up on, but the next Tuesday at work, on our shift together... Dude, fucking shine, man. I assumed it was... back to back to back fuck-ups. Hey, Joel, work sucks tonight. At least I can enjoy some stories for a 3-hour drive. Yeah, no worries. I'm Colin in Southampton. Hello, Colin. What's going on, dude? You do anything cool? Dude, I got a notification, but it didn't matter because it was graduation happening, and I happen to live around the corner from the high school, so traffic was backed up like crazy. Oh, that's annoying. Graduation already for high school? I thought every school usually gets out like in June. Oh, I guess the seniors do get out, like, don't they graduate like a week before all the other kids or something like that? What's up, Laura? You're gonna send over your own personal story? Yeah, please do. Let's read submissions at gmail.com. I assumed it would be one of those things where promises get made and never followed up on, but the next Tuesday at work, on our next shift together, Robbie issued me a dinner invite for that following Saturday. It would be me, him, and Dan, he said. And I said I'd love to, and Robbie told me to make sure that I dressed sexily, and then tipped me a little cheeky grin, showing off his expensively whitened teeth. Again, creepy from some guys, but funny and cute coming from an openly gay guy like Robbie, I thought. I showed up at the given address just after 8 p.m., a little fashionably late, really, but Robbie greeted me with a hug and air kisses and apologized for the absence of Dan. He was a legal secretary and had been called into work last minute to deal with some major client crisis, apparently. However, hopefully he'd show up in time for dessert, which was to be, according to Robbie, a divine pavlova. Robbie took my coat and showed me around the apartment. It wasn't quite what I'd expected. I think I'd been assuming that he lived in this really bougie, fashionable place. Instead, it was kind of messy, like student digs, and he hadn't really tidied up in preparation for my arrival. But why should he, I guess? If this is how he lived, with Bang energy cans lying around and an Xbox on the coffee table, then let your bro flag fly, really. Now, he had, however, made a real effort with the dining table. The kitchen, dining, and living room were all open plan, and the area with the dining table looked like it belonged to a different apartment. Curtains down to the floor open onto a balcony showing off the famous skyline of the city that I live in. Candles flickered on a beautifully laid out table. There were 2 place settings at either end of the table. Robbie guided me to that seat facing away from the kitchen and pulled out my chair with a flourish after taking my coat. He told me that the flood would be ready in the flood. It's the flood from Halo! Da 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 da, da 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 da. You graduate high school in June too. Yeah, I feel like I vaguely recall. For some reason, I recall graduating and then like it taking another week or so before like the actual graduation started. Joe, how do you feel? You think your girlfriend feels when she hears you tell that she doesn't exist? She would probably hypothetically run me over with a car and go to jail. You graduated high school in May. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe some... I guess if some people on the West Coast never had any snow days or something, they just have wildfire days. Joelle, a friend at 16, also graduated early to get married. The guy cheated on her and her secret kid with another lady. That's sad. Today, the 1-year anniversary of my dog Bailey passing, and found out yesterday a buddy of mine passed, so I've been all in my head and feels like, damn, he has too smoke. Oh, jeez, I'm so sorry to hear that. What would I do if the sky fell? You mean like meteors or something? It'd be kind of cool. Tell the people who care about you love them, because you never know what could happen. Bless everyone. Thank you, Lunchbox. Joelle, she met him on something like Christian Mingle when her first boyfriend, the one she was going to marry, broke up with her. Guys, listen. Listen. If you want to be great in history, soldiers, listen up. Listen to me. If you want to be great, no one's going to remember you for your spouse. You know who they're going to remember you for? Your fucking cool and interesting hobbies that change the world. Sir, yes, sir. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry everybody's fucking spouse cheats on each other nonstop forever. But guys, I need you guys. This is a threat. This is a friendly threat. I need you guys to do cooler stuff. I need you guys to stop dating a bunch of fucking losers and go out and pursue some shit that you can have control over in your life, and you can make the world better and more interesting and fun. You know who I want to kiss? The guy who invented fucking Pokemon. He's a badass. And you know what? I don't give a fuck who he married. I don't care about his kids unless they continued the creation of Pokemon. I don't care if all of his wives cheated on him. I just care for the fact that he invented Dragonite, because that's fucking sick. You think the creator died? Well, that's not great. But he certainly accomplished something pretty cool in a short period of time here on Earth. Should you become a professional athlete, you should go one-on-one against LeBron James. What's so good about Dragonite? It's a fucking dragon. You can fly on his back. He's deliver mail, dude. It's freaking cool. Does working in data centers count as something great for the world? I mean, it's great for whoever controls Peter Thiel, I guess. You're going to remember my girlfriend that almost killed me. That's a good point. That was the most interesting thing she's ever done, is try to murder me. But guess what? She failed at that too. Nada nada boo boo, now you're stuck in fucking Orange is the New Black. I've been using ketamine. That'd be funny. She like tries to run me over and kill me, but she left the fucking e-brake on. So it just like doesn't really go anywhere. He told me that the food would be ready in minutes, and he just had to grab it from the oven. Now, he also told me to be sure not to look so I didn't spoil the surprise of the menu. I sat at the table and waited, listening to the clattering of this... I sat at the table and waited, listening to the clattery of dishes behind me. Now, as the impatient person I am, I pulled out my phone and realized that I wasn't getting any coverage in that apartment, and I turned in my seat to ask Robbie what... God damn it. Any video recommendations before bed? Maybe Appalachian Trails. The one with like 1 million views. I turned in my seat to ask Robbie for the Wi-Fi password, and that's when I saw it. He'd poured 2 glasses of champagne, and it very clearly looked like he was sprinkling something into one of the glasses. Surely not, though. But I know what I saw, and I know the signs, and I know how to be wary, no matter how camp and gay your dinner date. Dude, I can't finish a fucking sentence, bro. Holy crappers. We need to stop putting household expectations on female children, honestly. Give them more hobbies. What do you mean? I feel like every kid should probably be doing chores or something just to learn, you know, responsibility, etc. Man, if you don't have a girlfriend yet, just chase success and goals. Don't be one of the tragic simps who drag their balls through a mile of broken glass for bunker busted box. Bunker busted box is actually insane. It's whatever, man. Everybody's gonna find someone perfect for them, I promise. The question is like, can everyone just be good? Can everyone just be a good person? Is that possible? Can we pursue our goals and then just everybody be nice to each other and not lie? And we just... No, not possible. Okay, that's fair. All I needed to hear was someone to say no, and that's it. That's all I... Female children are made to do more house chores than males, especially if the females are older. Well, that's just kind of up to you as a parent, right? So nothing you can really do to affect other people's households. So just, if you raise kids, just give them equal responsibilities. And I do understand, though, that the older sibling definitely carries a brunt of responsibility for sure. Original sin, that's the thing that plagues us. Yeah, but mystery, don't you ever just think to yourself, guys, honestly, ask yourself, do you ever take a moment in your day, think deep, like, just here, do it with me. Close your eyes, bow your head, fold your hands, and say to yourself, what can I do differently? What can I do to be a better person? Was I a good person today? Was I mean to anybody? Was I selfish? Was I rude? Was it? And if anything pops into your fucking head, just change it. Holy shit. It's that fucking simple. Surely not, though. But I know what I saw, and I know the signs, and I know how to be wary, no matter how camp and gay your dinner date might be. When Robbie came back in, he placed one of the glasses in front of me and the other at his place setting. And then the oven timer went off, and I knew it was my chance. If I was wrong, and he hadn't spiked my drink, then no harm done, right? And so with my heart pounding in my chest, I quickly switched the champagne glasses around. It felt like I was doing something you only ever see in movies, but literally in real life. Now I expected... What was that sound? It's Pradeep I think Pradeep might be throwing up. Buddy? What's up? Why are you making weird monster noises? I think Pradeep's infected with the thing from The Thing. This might not be him. You okay? What are you doing? That's so weird. Like, I turn around and he's just like in a weird, just in a weird position. But normally you can see him. He's kind of getting, when cats get into their like throw up a fur ball type stance. But he was like kind of in that, but then like immediately went back to normal. Oh, you know why? He might. He's pissed because I. One second. I need to move this cat bed back. That's what it was. Hey, come on in. Come into my dojo. My dojo. It's actually how dojo is supposed to be pronounced. It's dojo. It's DiGiorno. Alright, sorry. Do you have inside cat grass? I had it for a little bit, but... Do you by chance have any areas where you live where when you're driving at night, you see a bunch of cops? Every time I drive in Scottsdale, there's a literal infestation of cops patrolling. I don't think so. Everybody's kind of behaves themselves, I guess. Maybe it just depends on where you go. Do I like brie cheese? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, guys. I just got distracted there. I expected Robbie to appear any second, and if it had been a movie, I would have completed the switch with just milliseconds to spare, but it felt like he didn't return to the table for another 5 minutes at least. When he did, the dish on offer was a decent-looking mac and cheese. Okay, so maybe he and Dan over-exaggerated Robbie's culinary skills a bit. It did look like a good mac and cheese in fairness, and it's hard to get mac and cheese wrong, really. Now, I was a bit wary about eating any of his food, though. If he had spiked my drink, but then he served up his own portion of mac and cheese, and I realized he obviously wasn't going to drug himself. I also found it very amusingly Robbie-like that he served up his own food before offering me mine. It looked like I was going to be helping myself, so I did just that. Robbie kept encouraging me to try the champagne because it was a particularly great one, and so I took a casual sip. He did the same and then took a bigger sip, and he matched me. It was something of a running joke that we had whenever we went out drinking, really, and as we started eating, Robbie was talking about work, and to my dismay, I could hear his words begin to slur. I suggested he drink some more champagne, and he did, and then he drained the whole glass. Now pretty soon, he was displaying all the telltale signs of being roofied. I hadn't been wrong. My heart dropped when I realized how real this was. Robbie had really spiked my drink. Now obviously I know what to look out for with that kind of stuff, and I know what they do, so I knew Robbie would be suggestible, and so I just came straight out and asked him why he'd spiked my drink. He kind of giggled and said that he wanted to try me out. I told him he had a boyfriend and I thought he was gay, and he said that he'd never said that. He liked women every now and then, but it wasn't as fun when we knew about it. Apparently he got off on the surprise, and I felt sick and disgusted. Eventually I got him to admit that he'd roofied at least 4 other people, 3 of which were women, and that Dan knew about it and was kind of a kink to them. If I'd remotely been thinking straight, I would have recorded his confession, although I know now that it wouldn't have done any good. Finally, disgusted and terrified at Robbie's betrayal, I said that I was leaving. Robbie started laughing and saying that he missed me already, and then passed out face first into his plate of mac and cheese. I left him snoring in that sauce and went straight back to the near... Damn, am I invisible? Oh no, you're not invisible, I'm just in the midst of reading. Unfortunately, I don't have chameleon eyes. Found out I've been getting dizzy. It's because in the max dose of my antidepressants, and definitely the only reason I'm taking the max dose isn't for depression. Oh, sorry. I don't know who you're talking to. My bad. He wasn't thinking straight. He was thinking gay. Just passed right out in the cheese. Good mac and cheese is delicious. I wouldn't have turned that down. Whenever I hear Halloween drug screams, I'm always like, what drug dealers give away free drugs? Drugs are expensive. Yeah, be careful with those. They'll make you feel some type of way. I left him snoring in that sauce and went straight to the nearest police station. When I got done telling the officer everything that happened, I didn't exactly get the answer I wanted to hear. Apparently it was my word against Robbie's, and unless he had security cameras inside his apartment and provided the footage to us, then really all we could prove had happened was... It was my word against Robbie's, and unless he had security cameras inside his apartment and provided the footage to us, then really all we could prove had happened. All we could prove had happened was that. Okay, Jesus fuck, dude. Is there different laws depending on different states for this kind of stuff? I don't even know how it all works. Okay, sorry. It was my word against Robbie's, and unless he had security cameras inside his apartment and provided the footage to us, then really all we could prove had happened was that I roofied him. The clippity-clopping hooved beast. The cop, who was clearly sympathetic and felt bad for me, suggested that it was probably in my best interest not to pursue any charges, given how things had played out. Unfortunately, I didn't have the names of any of the other people Robbie admitted to roofing, and really all I could do was hope to hell that this experience had scared him out of trying it again. Now, I'm not entirely sure what he did learn from the experience, though, because I never saw or heard from him again. He just didn't show up to work for the next week. He didn't call in sick or quit. He just pulled a complete vanishing act, and when the other managers tried to call him, his number was no longer in service. I tried to track Dan down, but there was no luck there either. Nobody had seen him at the bar that we hung out at, and apparently he'd never worked at that law firm Robbie had claimed. It was all just completely weird, a very frustrating mystery, and ultimately I'm glad that Robbie is now out of my life, and I have my own theories about why he and Dan both disappeared. I can only hope one of my theories is right, because it would mean Robbie's no longer a danger to anyone. It's deeply frustrating knowing that a potential criminal like that can be out there, but then I have to remind myself that he's just one of many. My heart breaks for his alleged past victims, and while I wish there was more I could do, I'm just very lucky that Robbie's betrayal didn't lead to a far worse outcome for me. Oh, fuck. How am I today? I'm good, honestly. Had a good, what was today? Lower body, had a good lower body. Some good cardio. Had some good lunch. And various other little meetings here and there. What's a gunch mother? I'm not sure. All hips today. Straight hip in it. Straight hip mobility. Tennis is kicking your ass. Oh, geez, I missed another one. And then you hit it so hard you knock the other person out. How's my mom? She's good. She's good. I remember like a while ago I had talked about a family member who had dealt with addiction. Not her, obviously, but they are out of rehabilitation and are doing good. They're 80 days sober, which makes me happy, and yeah. My antidepressant is causing my vertigo to be worse at night at the moment when I had to call it some definitely, yeah, I don't know. The Gunch Mother. I don't know who the Gunch Mother is, where that started. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I'm glad. People who get sober, I'm glad. It's just scary. Just that one guy creeping you out. I'm glad it didn't ruin your day. No, it's not. It's just, it's one of those things where you just, it's like every time you go in, you're like, this fucking guy with this fucking stupid face. It's like nothing you can really say or prove, or even like, I might even at times think I'm like going crazy, but it's just like every time it's just like I peek around, or just not peek around, but just like kind of like, and there he is, just like, what's up, Kathy? You've been sober from meth for 20 years. That's awesome. That's what they struggled with. And yeah, what was that like for you, like getting sober from it? Because I mean, like a lot of it comes down to what, like dopamine. Like how do you end up like kind of replacing that, so, or like, you know, replenishing your dopamine and all that kind of stuff, or a gut instinct problem. Yeah. Smoked a little indica after a 4-mile run, showered and did a long-ass foam roll and yin yoga sesh. My body feels like jelly and everything is comfortable. That sounds amazing, honestly. Have you gotten to see the family member? Yeah, I saw him on, what's it called? Memorial Day. That's where it was. It was good. I got to see my nephew. It's just so, I don't know, just like really like, my nephew gets so excited to see me. It just feels good. He's a good little stinky head. He's about to be 4 years old. Crazy. I've watched nearly all of your videos, and recently I've been hanging out in your live streams, and from what I can tell, you're a bit of a gamer. And if I recall, you're big into first-person shooters and Fortnite. Now please forgive me if I've gotten that wrong. But the point is, I'm sure you're familiar with and have probably played Halo Combat Evolved. I played through the first game with my friend Kieran when we were just little kids. I was lucky enough to get an Xbox at launch, and then when Halo 2 came out, we played it together in co-op as well. And Halo 3, same story, ODST, co-op with Kieran. Halo Reach, you better believe we played it. And then Halo 4 came out, and it was the start of our senior year. At the beginning of November, I remember it quite well. I'd been dating a girl at the time for about over a year at this point, and tragically her grandmother passed on the weekend of November 3rd. However, we live in California, and the grandmother lived in Rhode Island. My girlfriend only had her father since her mother died young, and I offered to go with her, which would mean leaving on the 5th and staying beyond the funeral, which was the 9th. Basically, I wouldn't be back in California until November 15th. The school was understanding. They gave me work to catch up with while I was away, and my girlfriend was homeschooled, so it really wasn't an issue for her. Everyone understood why I was taking the time out to accompany Jess cross-country to be with her during her beloved grandmother's funeral and wake. And that's everyone except Kieran. Now, I remember telling him just kind of offhand without really thinking about it, and he went quiet. Anyone watched Obsession? I did, last night. Went by myself to the movie theater. Nobody wanted to go. None of you guys wanted to go at all. But it was good. Do you love being an uncle? I know you mentioned your friends have kids sometimes, and well, I do, honestly, but it was like this weird sort of thing. So like my 2 older brothers are like substantially older than me, right? Like 9 and 10 years older than me, I believe. And you know, I became an uncle for the first time when I was in 4th grade, which is pretty funny. And you know, because my brother was at that time, I guess he was like 20 or 21, and got a woman pregnant. And then basically my nephew, it was pretty cool. He was basically like a little brother to me, because growing up, my mom would like have him over like every other weekend, and kind of got to grow up with him, which is insane, because like that nephew is like probably like 25 now, or 26 or some shit. So he's like a full-on adult, which is wild. And then but then that same brother, like later on, had another kid with his one wife, or like a later wife, right? And like I don't know, he was always not super close to our family, so like being able to kind of like go see that nephew just like never happened, so that kind of sucked. And it's wild because that nephew is like about to graduate high school, which is just fucking insane to me. Like I just don't know him at all, you know. But then this brother, you know, only recently had a kid 4 years ago or whatever, and that's been fun. But I don't get to see him too often because of just like his sort of issues I mentioned, and then baby mama drama with his situation. But you know, so in many ways it's weird. It's like my friend that I met through like work when I first started doing nursing. That's who, like, he had his daughters in like 2016, and then the next one like 4 years after that, and they're very much the ones that I'd like been in their life pretty much since they were born, and they feel, you know, they're like my nieces, and I've, you know, literally babysat one of them today during the karate thing. And yeah, it's like, so I get to see them, you know, the most, but it's not like direct family, I suppose you could say. Am I the most handsome brother? I'm not, no. Like my older brothers are like, so I'm like 5, you know, I'm like 5'10" and a half. Gotta add the half in there. But like my older brothers are like 6'2", 6'3", right? And they're just fucking, just good looking dudes. You know what I mean? They just, now granted, they made substantially, just say 5'11". All right, I'm 5'11". 5'11". Joel, you and Jim Guy are going to be rubbing lightning rods and making sparks. Accept it. His name is Pomfrey. He likes prolonged eye contact. That's true. That's the only way he can finish his sets. He's going to stare me directly into my soul. I get my bicep curls in. Yeah, that's a good point. If I'm 5'11", we can easily round that up to 6 foot, which then is technically 7 foot if we're counting in like dinosaur height. Do they have a voice like mine? You know, the middle brother, no. The older one does actually, but he smokes fucking cigarettes his whole fucking life, so his voice is just, you know, it's just very growly. Listening to a recent video in the afternoon, the second story is the most creepiest, but yet interesting. Yeah, which one was that? Which story was that? Joel is pre-smashed face handsome squitter. I don't know what that is, but I'll accept it. Joel, are you a lover or a fighter? Definitely a lover. Like my brothers were always fighters. They would always fight people all the time, get in trouble all the time, do stupid shit all the time, and I'm just like, what's that one meme where like, I'm pretty sure it was from Smiling Friends, where like I think it was from Smiling Friends where like an egg hatches and like, everyone get along. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I need to find this fucking meme. You guys need to hear it. Yes. This is the stupidest shit of all time. You never watched this show, please do.
Stop fighting! Hello, daddies, hello, daddies,
Don't you see?
daddies, hello.
Look what you did. You created life.
Okay, there you go. Stop fighting! That's me. I come out of my egg. Stop my brothers from beating each other up. Did I watch the last 2 extra episodes? I haven't, no. It's like as soon as I stopped, I like kind of mentally checked out. I just remember what happened to that guy Jacob Bowling. Oh, he's still in here. He came in here a couple streams ago. Gave us an update. He killed over 200 meth heads recently with his sheriff's whip. He killed them with a whip. I remember telling him just offhand, without really thinking about it, and he just went quiet. He frowned and mouthed some things silently to himself, a habit he had when he was working things out. And then he was all, "What about Halo 4? Now, I was a bit taken aback. I said it was fine, we could just play it when I got back, but Kieran was persistent. We played all the other games in co-op at lunch. Oh my god, dude, I cannot fucking read tonight. At lunch. Your pretty little lunch. We played all the other games in co-op at launch. How could we break the streak with 4? I tried pointing out to him that I didn't really have a choice. I explained that my girlfriend's beloved grandmother had literally died and she needed someone with her for the following events. Now at first I thought Kieran was joking because of how mad he got. But no, he was serious. He was genuinely accusing me of putting Jess before our friendship. And he even used the phrase bros before hoes at one point. And no matter how much I tried to explain to him that this was just a video game and the death of a loved one was a little more important, he wasn't having any of it. Now it ended with him throwing my Xbox 360 pad to the floor and breaking it into pieces and then storming out of my house. I was taken aback. I tried calling and texting him in the 2 weeks before we left for Rhode Island, but he either left me on read or hung up on me. Now, I have no choice but to try and put Kieran to the back of my mind and spend all my time emotionally supporting Jess. It was a beautiful service, and Jess had a huge family. They were all welcoming and made me feel like one of them, and I soon forgot about my lunatic friend, and by the end of the trip, I felt like I'd genuinely known Grandma and genuinely felt a sense of emotion for her. I'd left my car in Jess's driveway, so when we finally returned home, we all said our goodbyes. Exhausted, emotional, and even more convinced that Jess was the one, I drove home. What is wrong with me, bro? Like, why does it just why does my voice just suddenly break? Do you ever have to edit the stories to be more readable to you? Yeah, usually. Random times, but usually the editors handle it. What's up, Ryla? Lindsay Tompkins, thank you for this. I hate washing dishes. Thanks for the distraction. No worries. What you gotta do is just pretend there's a little monster in there trying to grab you, and you're gonna fight him with a knife. My best friend has, I don't know how many siblings since her mom keeps having them. Last I heard, she was like 6 or 7 siblings. Crazy. Do I have editors? Yeah, for the emails that get sent in. I have people that dig through the email to find stuff that fits certain topics that they think would be good. You feel like you're more of an uncle to your friends' kids? I do, yeah, because it's like I see them all the fucking time, and you know, whenever I see, like when I got to see my nephew on Memorial Day, it's like I immediately feel like the fact that he just is so excited to see me, I'm like I actually feel terrible because it's like, I don't know, I feel like I don't get to see him all that much, but he was just so excited to see me. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, like, you're awesome. Let's light fireworks and blow our fingers off, man. Uncle style. Working in the kitchen after more tattoos wasn't a smart idea. Dang. Does Fry still do that thumbnails? My favorite one was the tentacled man. I want to see him again in a new video. I don't think Fry has done a thumbnail in a long time. I didn't know Fry did a tentacle guy. Exhausted, emotional, and even more convinced that Jess was the one, I drove home. Immediately I could see something was wrong. The front window was smashed in, and the door was covered in a certain piece of phallic graffiti. Inside, the place had been trashed. Just everything had been broken. The TV, my Xbox, my PlayStation 3. Someone had taken a knife to the couch and cut it into pieces. Most of the rest of the room were untouched, and then I went into my bedroom. All my posters had been slashed up. My smaller TV was smashed into the floor, but the worst was the bed. It was covered in both urine and feces, and had clearly been that way for a few days. Thankfully, my parents' room was locked. They were away for an extended period of time on some cruise, hence why the house was free to be vandalized. I guess none of the neighbors, who were mostly just junkies, honestly, had thought to alert us or call the cops, and then they'd seen the broken window or the graffiti. When they'd... God damn it, dude. Having more than 4 kids is so pointless and kind of selfish in my opinion, especially in 2026. Like 6+ kids is extremely bizarre in my opinion. What if you were from Togo? Can people from Togo have 6 kids? Is that selfish? I'm not sure if he did Tentacle Man. It was the Private Investigator volume. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one was insane. Oh, man. I think a single income family can handle the workload better. I mean, like, if you're going to have 6 kids, like, you're probably most likely in most scenarios going to get some degree of, like, government assistance. In which case, if that's, like, your, perception towards the selfishness, then I could see that reasoning, like, being against the fact that the taxpayers kind of have to, like, carry your existence, Your cousin has 6 kids. He's a missionary in Indonesia. Yeah, there seems to be, like, within the religious communities, a pretty strong calling to, like, have as many kids as possible. I don't see it as selfish or pointless if the parents actually want the kids and give the kids full attention and actually care for them. Yeah, like my one friend, like, he's a nurse practitioner now, and his wife stays at home and homeschools, like, has homeschooled 7 kids, ranging from, like, as young as 4 to, like, one's literally about to graduate college. And, like, every one of his kids are, like, the nicest people in the world, the smartest people in the world, super athletic, super social, super involved, and you know what I mean? They're like a type of kid that you just, like, literally you don't really feel like you come across it as often. Like, they love to read, love to learn, love to help people, you know what I mean? They're just, like, good. And, like, when you see them interact with their parents, like, you can just tell, like, love them, and they love, them back. And it's like, even their conflicts they have with each other is just, like, kind of funny, because it's just kind of dorky, you know what I mean? Dorky in a way that's, like, cute, they're just, it's like sarcastic stuff, but they're funny at the same time. Do you ever look at some people with 36 kids and you're like, Jesus Christ, use your butt, girl? Yeah, I've been saying that. Use your toes. I guess none of the neighbors, who were mostly probably junkies, honestly, had thought to alert us or call the cops when they'd seen the broken window or the graffiti junk. I called the cops and then immediately started asking around the neighborhood. Nobody had seen anything, and then finally, I hit upon a stroke of luck. My elderly neighbor across the street had a security camera. Now, this was 2012, so they were hardly sophisticated back then, but I was able to see the footage, and there was no way of identifying the guy breaking in. He wore a mask and a hoodie. But I knew. I knew the walk, their gait, the slight limp from a skateboard accident, the nervous way he'd dart around. It was obviously my friend Kieran. I told the cops my theory, and of course Kieran had some alibi. Surprisingly, he had other friends, and they claimed that he was with them that night. But I knew it was him. We never spoke again, and Jess and I eventually got married and are still happily together today, so I guess it was all worth it. But ultimately, my friend since elementary school was enough of a terrifying psycho to destroy my entire living room, piss all over my bed, and worse, because I couldn't play Halo with him on launch day. Thankfully, my family had home insurance and a lot of costs were covered, but I still had to pay a bunch of money out that I couldn't afford. I stick to single-player games these days or couch co-op with Jess. I think it's easier to understand why. And anytime any of my online buddies ask if I want to come game with them, I just tell them. Joel, the best Reddit comment I've ever read was some guy getting drunk, going commando, and fake fart ended up sharting on the concrete in front of their friends. Hell yeah. Joel, do you like when a girl is jealous over you? Not if it's like super frequent. Like, it actually kind of weirds me out why, in some ways, many women kind of find it like they're right. Like, if a guy was like jealous, right, and to an overbearing sense of possessiveness, like maybe some women would find that attractive, but I could totally understand why they would find it like to be really disconcerting and annoying and uncomfortable and a bit worrisome. But for some reason, it seems like whenever really a lot of those similar scenarios happen from the woman doing it, it's like, I don't know, it's like a degree of maturity that I think most people should learn to overcome instead of just accepting it as like a normal thing. I'm breaking up. Oh shit. It's insecure, and insecurity is unattractive. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. Insecurities are not fun to deal with, because like, how do you work like an adult's mind through an insecurity? Hence why, once again, it's like, bow your head, close your eyes, fold your hands in front of you, and ask yourself, what the fuck is wrong with me? You know? And if you're someone that never has ever looked introspectively into yourself and pondered what is wrong with me and how can I make myself better, then why the fuck would anyone want to date you? You know what I mean? Like, this perspective that you can just, that a lot of people can just be like extremely childish in their adult years, and somehow it's like almost like clapped and championed. It's fucking weird, man. If you never cheated on them, sure. If you've cheated and they're still around, they're torturing themselves. Yeah, I don't know. Some people just like get into it for no reason. And yeah, I don't even know. I have like a friend, I think I mentioned it before, but they've cheated on their girlfriend like twice, and their girlfriend like still sticks around. And I'm just like, I don't know. There's a part of me where I'm just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, she had like so much potential to go like do an actual career or something, but stuck around for him. And you know, it's like, I love them both, but it's just kind of disappointing to observe from an outsider's perspective, because what are you supposed to say that's not going to make you look like a total jerk? My ex-girlfriend would be pissed if I had any friends that were girls hang out with me. Yeah, I mean, it's fucking weird, man, and the fact that we just like sort of accept it and go along. It's like, you wouldn't accept it from your best friend, right? Like, if you had a best friend who was a weirdo, or just friends in general, you'd be like, fuck off. But for some reason, we accept it from the person that we get intimate with, you know? Like, somehow it's better or normal. It's not fucking normal, dude. You need fucking healthy, normal fucking people. Jesus Christ. Just be normal. Anytime any of my online buddies ask if I want to game with them, I just tell them that I'm not really into video games, and I've never played Halo since. I've been single for so long that the moment someone starts getting weird with me, I just go back to my peace and quiet. Totally reasonable, bro. I mean, protecting your peace, like, I don't know. I see so many people, they're so afraid of being alone, which like does suck. Like, you have those moments where you're alone and you don't want to be alone, and it's very disheartening, you know, as any human can go through. But what would you rather be, like, alone without somebody, or like in a relationship feeling alone the whole time, or feeling stuck? Like, it's just fucking miserable. Hey Daniela, how we doing? Halo 2 Midnight Release was fucking vibe, bro. That was the shit, bro. Like, I was in 9th grade when Halo 2 came out, and I remember we had like a football game, and everyone had it, you know, ready to rock and roll. I remember this one kid, he was like not a starter on the team or whatever, but like he just stayed up all night and beat the Halo 2 campaign in one go. And you know, and some of us hadn't even played it yet, you know what I mean? And it was just insane. But then I remember like man, Halo 2 might be like my most played game for sure. Like, because there was something about it. It was the first time like Xbox Live came into the scene. You could join parties or could you join parties? You could join parties, but it was almost like Halo 2 itself had basically designated what it means to like have little parties within games and like chat in them within the ecosystem of Halo 2 itself. And then that transpired to eventually the party system that Xbox Live on the Xbox 360 had, which was cool. But I remember just like we would be in like custom matches in like Halo, and you know, you'd just be like talking to friends, driving around in a Warthog and blowing, you know, throwing sticky grenades on their tires and shit, and just talking about life and like you know, just like, you know, gaming nowadays, talking with friends in a call or something like that. But that's where it all, in many, I mean, sure there was like probably TeamSpeak on PC and all that kind of stuff, but and then I remember senior year I remember we did like a senior day where like every dude mainly like skipped school to go to get Halo 3 when it first came out, and I remember staying up all night to get it with friends, and then and then we like pre-ordered it from a mall, and then the places at the mall like didn't open or whatever at midnight to sell it, and so like there was so many of our friends that were like playing Halo 3 like way before us, and it was just really annoying. But I just remember like waiting for the stores to open up in the mall, just like playing, like we had like a tennis ball and we were just playing like wall ball, you know, throwing a fucking ball against a brick wall, like waiting for the stores to open. Pretty fucking sweet memories. Melissa Jacobs with the 5 says, hello and good night, Joel and chat. Good night, Melissa. Thank you. Joel, could you survive a 24-hour stream? I don't know, honestly. I don't even, do I just read the whole time? I think I could probably do it, honestly. What's up, Frost? I would find out fast if she was treated by the way. Got lots of people that were watching her for me for medical reasons since she has Caesar's. I don't know, dude. Guys, I don't really care about anybody's relationships anymore. No, I do. I'm sorry. That sounds rude, but I just like, I don't even know. I want to hear about your guys' like individual accomplishments, you know what I mean? I want to hear about the time you wrote a novel. I want to hear about the time you fucking learned how to ride a horse for the first time. I want to hear about the time that you defeated the Huns in a field of battle. I want to hear about the time that you threw the Ring of Power into Mount Doom. I don't give a fuck. I mean, I do honestly care about your guys' lives and stuff, but I just want everybody to like stop worrying so much about some shitty fucking boring ass other person. And you killed a spider last night? See, that's exciting to me. Was it scary, spider? You killed an elk from 350 yards. That's sick. What were you shooting? 30-06? I did the CODs with the NVG, the radio-controlled car, the Pip-Boy for Fallout. I worked them all. That's awesome. ADH Dizzle. I finished a Stitch diamond art this weekend that I've been working on for a month. That's amazing. I need to see that. Why you killed Dad, you know? Oh, you guys are... Okay, sorry. I recently started my own travel business. It's something I've always wanted to do. That's amazing. Travel business. What's that entail? I produced and mixed and mastered my band's album also in such a great relationship. Super. See, that's good to hear. And Zella, I'm happy for you. That's amazing. ADHD's nuts. You cleaned the toilet? There you go. Good clean toilet's always nice. A disembodied hand called Handy Chan. You drew a disembodied hand called Handy Chan. That's cool. You can wrap my car with a Let's Read design. That would actually be dope, but I don't think I'd want any. I'm like one of those people that I just don't want anybody looking at me, especially in my car. I don't really like the idea of driving around like a showboaty car. Okiyasa Nijimura with the two says, me and my dog ate pizza and popsicles today. Let's fucking go. There's a video put on my watch later about how modern gaming is a trap where you don't actually own anything anymore. I mean, it's true, man. Everything's just... like, what is any of it? It's all just like some strange synthesized live stream or live service gambling addiction bullshit. Also, there's no way I'm going to be able to... Is my car tinted? No, I wish it was, dude. I need a tinted windows 100%. I'm writing in on behalf of my older parents, who I'm sad to say aren't listeners. They're more of the crime shows on TV type, I'm afraid, and don't really listen to YouTuber channels. That doesn't stop me and my older kids from being huge fans, though, and it's been a long time coming for us to write into you because our family has a long-term, ongoing creepy story about the wildest friends to enemies incident I ever experienced. Now, for some backstory, this all started after I'd finished college and moved into what would turn out to be my forever home with my boyfriend, who became my husband, but sadly hasn't stayed my forever partner since then. And now that myself and my two brothers had moved out of the family home, my parents decided to downsize. They moved into a nice little suburban cottage and we helped them settle in. One of the first things Mom told me about, with a nice little glow in her voice, was how lovely the elderly neighbors were. They were a couple in their 70s, apparently, who'd been together since high school. They were very fit and active, and in the 2 weeks that my parents had already lived there, they'd become fast friends. The neighbors, who I'll just call Mr. and Mrs. Awful, for good reasons, had made sure Mom and Dad settled into the neighborhood very well. They brought home-baked goods around almost every other day. They'd introduced them to the other neighbors, and it had been nothing but wonderful. Their son worked as the owner of a fresh fish distribution company for the local market, so the family was decently well off. Mom and Dad didn't have a huge amount of friends. They'd both been extremely career-focused until they retired. My brothers and I all agreed that it was great to see them socializing some, and Mr. and Mrs. Awful seemed like the perfect neighbors. What could possibly go wrong? Well, oh my God, the answer is everything. Hate is a strong word, and I don't think I've ever actually hated anyone before, but hand on my heart, I hate Mr. and Mrs. Awful. They seem like such a sweet, lovely couple too, and the first time I met them, it was like I had a new set of grandparents. It all started to go wrong when my parents first went on vacation. They'd been living at the new property for a few months, but this post-retirement vacation was something that they'd been booked for years. Probably played Halo 2 or 3 together a few times. That would be kind of interesting. Hey, Rocker Red, what's up, dude? How you doing? Everybody say hi to Rocker Red, my first ever commenter on the channel back in 2014. You got a Black Widow and some grocery store produce once. Oh my God. You just released a third Toad of the Night from the gym. That's awesome. It's just toads hanging in there. Oh no, I know you're a girl. What did I say? Did I say dude? Dude to me is gender nooch. Hey man, first time catching a live video. I've been falling asleep to your voice for over a year now. Seriously, thanks so much. Insomnia sucks. Absolutely, Shice. I'm so glad you can sleep. Sleep is heaven when you need it. They'd been living at the new property for a few months, but this post-retirement vacation was something they'd had booked for years. They probably wouldn't have gone on vacation so soon after moving into a new house, but it was a cruise and a once-in-a-lifetime type thing. Unfortunately, the plan had been for my brother to house sit for them, to look after the cats, and everything fell through. I forget exactly why, something to do with him getting sudden contract work, but it resulted in my parents scrambling trying to find someone to feed the cats during the 2 weeks they were away. I suggested that they ask the Awfuls, and of course, Mom loved that idea. The Awfuls were only too happy to agree to it. They loved our cats, they said, and Mom was pretty stressed out because they're both indoor cats, and she was worried that the Awfuls wouldn't really grasp that. They seemed perfectly understanding of the concept of indoor cats, though, and in fact, they had an old cat until recently who'd lived entirely indoors. They'd make sure that the cats didn't get out and would spend a few hours a day with them even, which was perfect. Now anyway, before going away, my parents installed a couple of small security cameras in a few of the rooms. They weren't going to, but I kind of convinced them. They were worried that it felt like a betrayal to the Awfuls, but I convinced them that it's better to be safe than sorry. And besides, what if someone broke in or the cats did something insane? It's just better to install them and have them hidden but plugged in and connected to a laptop upstairs to record any movement. And so, my Karens. Hey, Creeper Nick, what's up, dude? How we doing? What's new in the Creeper world? Let's check your channel. We're going to do a channel audit. 2 years ago, that's a long time. Disturbing camping videos. The haunting of Peach Assassin 99. Peach Assassin? Who's that? Like a TikToker? Starting grad school in late July. Interesting. Good night, you guys. It's nice to be part of the chat again, at least somewhat. Absolutely, Aeon. Good to see you. 2 in the Huba, 1 in the Stank. Damn. I saw a picture of the band Incubus recently. I'm like, I don't know why, and just in my head, I just kind of assumed that they would never age. But they have very definitively aged. So my parents get back from vacation, and the cats seemed excited to see them, and so did the Awfuls. Everything seemed like it had gone so perfect, in fact, that my folks didn't even think about checking the security camera footage for a week or so. And in fact, I was the one who checked it when I dropped by for our regular Sunday lunch with the kids and then husband. While the rest of my family were playing some complicated board game and that I hated, I decided to go upstairs and just check the laptop to see if my setup had actually worked. But what I saw had left me speechless. The cameras weren't great quality or anything, and they only seemed to start recording occasionally. But what I saw across a few different cameras left me shocked. The Awfuls happily and recklessly just went digging through my parents' things. Talk about nosy. They went through drawers and cupboards, and some days they didn't even show up to feed the cats, and when they did, they were weirdly mean to them, kicking out at them and pushing them away constantly. And at one point, one of the cats escaped. Mr. Awful went running outside after her and came back in with the animal under his arm 5 minutes later. He violently threw her across the room. Thankfully, she jumped onto the couch and landed safely, and I could see him saying something angrily, and the cameras didn't have audio, sadly. I showed all of this to my parents, and they loved their cats as much as they loved their kids. They went storming over to the Awfuls, hammered on their door, and then waited for an answer. When it was answered, Instagram is listening to the chat because when you're talking about bush so much, the stupid meta AI search that popped up was how to groom a coarse bush. That's hilarious. That's great. Hey Drew, see what's up, bro? Naisa, what's going on? Wash your bush. Wash your George W. Bush. I showed all of this to my parents, and they loved their cats as much as they loved their kids. They went storming over to the Awfuls, hammered on their door, and then waited for an answer. When it was answered, my dad just said that they'd watched security footage from their cat sitting week, and that they'd appreciate if the next couple... When it was answered, my dad went over and said that they just watched security footage from the... Oh my god, what's my favorite story tonight? I don't know, they've actually been pretty solid, I would say. What, do you guys know which one's been your favorite? Oh, fuck, dude. When it was answered, my dad just said that they'd watched security footage from their cat sitting week, and that they'd appreciate it if the couple never spoke to or acknowledged them again. If we could leave it there, it would end there. And the elderly Mr. Awful replied with something like, "Your wife was always a C-word." Anyway, and slammed the door. We assumed that was it, and it was, for at least a month. And during that time, against my advice, my parents removed the security cameras because they were unsettling. And I strongly suggested that this was a bad idea, given that the Awfuls could retaliate, but they're boomers, what do you expect? It really was unfortunate because one day my parents went out for a day trip with a local community center. When they came home, a side window had been slid open. Mom swears that she locked it but can't be sure, and the house itself seemed untouched. No robbery, no vandalism, but it certainly wasn't untouched. No. The house itself absolutely stank like hell itself. I've never smelled anything like it. And at first I prayed that the Awfuls had thrown a load of stink bombs or something around, expired ones based on the smell. But it was worse than that. Every single toilet in the house was filled, and I mean filled, with the most disgusting bowel evacuation you could imagine. None of it was solid, and let me stress here that this was 3 different toilets. Either the culprit had the biggest, most rotten guts of all time, or they'd been saving the produce for this exact moment. But it was strange. They could have thrown it around the house. They could have absolutely destroyed my parents' property with poo, but instead they just filled the toilets with it. Well, it was disgusting. Vile, really, and it took hours to even begin to get rid of the smell. But we did get rid of the stuff itself by simply flushing the toilets. It just seemed like we were missing something, and looking back now, I can't help but feel that there was an evil genius behind the plan the Awfuls cooked up. 4 days later, the smell came back, only it wasn't quite the same. The parents had been in and out of the house so naturally that they became paranoid that a toilet had been filled again. But no, nothing. In fact, the bathrooms were bizarrely less disgusting than other rooms. The living room was the worst, and then the kitchen, the utility room, and then the hallway, which almost seemed to have a smell which was hidden more than the others. And it just got worse and worse. One night, shortly after my husband had left, in fact, to run away with his... See, like, if this is going to say left, in fact, it's really like comma, in fact. Put the shrimp on the barbie. We had a massive raid at a hotel in my area. The security guard at the hotel was selling illegal substances to police and FBI agents. That's awesome. It's always weird when it's like a raid, like raiding it with weapons and scaring everyone and just being a general menace. Like, I mean, if it's just one person, wouldn't it make more sense to, unless all of it was like stored there and like a larger operation was occurring, if there's just like one dude, it just seems really weird. Hey Joel, I submitted a few stories. Are you still accepting stories? Yep, definitely. Let's read submissions@gmail.com. Thank you for submitting. The neighbors copied the key so they could go in and be awful, but in subtle, undetectable ways. I like how they talk about the horde of 300 bullets. To me, that's just a good day at the range. What are you talking about? One night, shortly after my husband had left, in fact to run away with his apparent soulmate, I received a phone call. It was my mom, begging to come stay with me. My home was miserable with the kids missing their dad, and I didn't think my parents joining us would actually be a good idea. I asked why, and she explained that they could no longer tolerate the smell. It was ruining their lives, and they wanted to move out of their perfect bungalow. And I kind of lost it. I said that was it. We were getting to the bottom of this, and we'd already had a guy to check out the drains, so it wasn't that. I knew the smell of dead rats or mice or raccoons, so it wasn't a dead rodent stuck somewhere else. This was almost fishy. And then it struck me. An old prank that one frat had played on a guy back in my college days. They had a fish in his car for a week until it stank really bad, but it was nothing. Nothing compared to this. But I did remember it being similar. And I told my parents to go out for the day and called both my brothers. We went around and searched absolutely everywhere in that bungalow where we might find a dead mackerel or two. And it was far worse than that. And please, hold on to your stomachs if you're squeamish. 2 rotten octopus. Is it true I have the Elon Musk build? The red rocket build? It's everyone's favorite energy drink, Monster, Red Bull, Rockstar. Mine was Bang energy drinks for a while. But I think I just had to stop. 6-month undercover investigation. Oh, okay. You're not a writer, but you have a lot of paranormal experiences. Ouija board. Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny in The Exorcist that the Ouija board was sort of the cause of their issues, I think, or at least acted as like some type of portal. Apparently, if you cut up lemons and hide them in someone's house, it attracts fruit flies and doesn't smell as it rots. Interesting. Hey Joe, I love the viz. Been a long time listener. I was wondering, how did you get into the intro cartoon animation with the space guy? Did you animate it yourself, or did someone else make it for you? Yeah. Let's see, the end of cartoon animation with the space guy. Yeah, I'm thinking if it's the one where like bombs are happening on like Earth. That was from Umami. It's just various random friends of mine that I'd reached out to do commissions, and some of them have gotten quite popular. Low-key addicted to monsters? What kind of monster? A wedgie board. 2 rotten octopi. 7 mackerel. Over 15 other similar fish. A bunch of crabs and lobsters. A bunch of small, liquefying fish. And the worst was when my brother opened the hatch to the loft and an entire rotting tuna fell onto him. If you've never seen the size of a tuna, Google it. And this thing was... I don't even want to describe it. So we bagged up all the fish, including as much of the liquid rot that we could find, and we took them out to the backyard. And then we did another search, and another. And then we filled the house with air spray and fresheners and all sorts of devices, and then we did another search. And by the time we were confident that we'd gotten everything, it was evening time, and we paid for a hotel for our parents that night, and they returned to their property the next day. Dad didn't even pause to think. He grabbed up the ultra-thick garbage bags of fish and stormed over to the offals. If you recall, their son owned a goddamn fishery. Our theory, which was never confirmed but it was obviously right, is that the toilet incident was a distraction to try and cause us to focus on the plumbing when the smell came back. And then when we couldn't fix it, the parents would leave. My parents. Okay. Probably have to go to bed after this story when it finally fucking ends. Fuck, dude. I have to get so much shit done tomorrow in such a short period of time. Some of these story sets are long as fuck. How long have we been going? 2 hours? Fuck. Then, when we couldn't fix it, my parents would leave. Why had the Awfuls betrayed them? We still had no idea. When Dad knocked on the door, Mr. Awful opened it. Dad didn't even give him a chance to speak, and instead, he was ready, and threw the contents of the most foul of the garbage bags all over Mr. Awful and the hallway. He managed to get a second bag too, and then a third that coated their front door. He dumped the remaining 2 bags on their doorstep and left. Now, we all kind of expected a visit from the cops, but there was none. Likely, the Awfuls had no idea how much proof we had of their guilt. I guess they'd checked for security cameras since they knew it was a safe place for the fish. But who knows what goes on in the head of people like this? Instead, the Awfuls went on vacation the next day, and while they were away, my mom and dad received a letter. It was from Mrs. Awful. I don't have the letter down. Mr. D 2020 with the 2 says The Exorcist 3 is a real good sequel. I heard Exorcist 3 is good. Definitely gonna add that to the list. I heard The Exorcist 2 is just kind of ridiculous. Instead, the Awfuls went on vacation the next day. While they were away, my mom and dad received a letter. It was from Mrs. Awful. I don't have the letter on hand, but I can remember the majority of the insane woman's ramblings. Dear, my mom's name. If you're wondering why it might appear as if we betrayed you, then perhaps ask yourself if you betrayed us first. We've invited you over to dinner so many times, and not once have you commented. We've invited you over to dinner so many times, and not once have you commented on any of the new ornaments or home decor we've bought since you first visited. It's rude, ignorant, and insulting. We gave you a small taste of what you made us feel, and then some other ramblings. Now, if you think this story of... What is wrong with me? Now, if you think this story is bizarre, the ending is even more crazy. While the Awfuls were on vacation, we saw on the local news that a certain fishery had been raided, both for tax fraud and for smuggling cocaine inside shipments of cod. Apparently, the owner's elderly parents, who had owned the business before them, had also been involved in said racket and continued to be involved. And so we didn't even have to go to the cops with that lunatic letter. We didn't have to say a word, we just sat back and watched as their own actions ruined their own lives. Now, I cannot quite get my head around the reason why career criminals and drug smugglers engaged in such insanely ludicrous revenge. My only theory is, watching the son on television, he seemed like an adult frat boy really, and I'm pretty sure all the ideas came from him and his parents just went along with it. Now, I've never... Hey, Lynn, thank you for the gift to Crunchy Supreme. Now, I've never met more insane. Hey, Jolio, any good jazz stuff you've been listening to lately? My favorite lately has been A Tear for Eddie, Ween. Maybe like Paul Poblano and the Colgate Hour. Have you heard of them? I cannot get my head around the reason why career criminals and drug smugglers engaged in such insanely ludicrous revenge. My only theory is, watching the son on television, he seemed like an adult frat boy, and I'm pretty sure all the ideas came from him and his parents went along with them. I've never met a more insane family in my life, and I hope I never do, but I do hope they're having fun in prison, and I really hope they're forced to eat seafood every day, forever. Wagoo Etrick with the 2 says, hope you all have a great night. Thank you, Wagoo. What you got planned for tomorrow? It's like just gym. And then I still have to read quite a few more stories in this set. And then I gotta edit. And basically just get a bunch of shit done before the early afternoon. To then be free to meet with people before I'm gonna go see the back rooms at 7:30. So I just kind of have to like get on a hustle. Well, fuck. What time is it? So, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I gotta go to bed. I'm sorry, guys. I started way late, but it was because I just got fucking backlogged. Yeah, I gotta meet with at YouTube headquarters. I'm sorry for ending early, though, guys. I'm trying to start fucking earlier. Fucking so annoying. Everything just moves. Time moves so, like, actually moves faster in the daytime than it does normal. Gym, tan, laundry. Do you read stories faster by yourself versus on stream? Honestly, sometimes kind of like on stream faster, because whenever I'm like not streaming, I'm like stupid and like checking my phone, and then I go on like some 9-hour fucking rabbit hole learning about lizard folk and such, or like learning about Larry Wheels being a cuck or something stupid, you know? It's like stupid, pointless. Joel, if you stared at me, would you run me over? Yeah, you wouldn't even have to look my way. Alright, guys. I love you. Appreciate you. Sorry about that. Go check out the movie review. Go check out Obsession if you haven't seen it yet. It's directed by a YouTuber named Curry. He seems like a pretty good guy, so I'm sure he'd appreciate your support. And it is a good movie, honestly. But I'll get this up edited over on Patreon. It's only $1 for early access over there. If you did get gifted a membership, be sure to check out the bonus content here on YouTube. And yeah, what day is today? Oh, it's Wednesday. Yeah, I think I'm going to be streaming bonus content this Sunday. So the normal stream, but it's going to be a compilation on Monday, but I'll do bonus content on that Sunday. So that stream actually will happen and start at a normal time probably. But Strauss Outdoors with 10. Rate the movie 1 out of 10. Okay, what would I rate? What would I rate Obsession? I would rate Obsession 7. I would give it a 7. 7 bags of popcorn. A 7.6. Yeah, honestly, a 7.6 does actually sound pretty good. Mainly just because I thought was I obsessed with it? Yeah, it was definitely a solid like 7 to 8, somewhere in between there. Mainly just because it's like I had good cinematography. I would say the actors, everyone except, okay, so the one girl's name is Ida, I think. Am I saying her name right? The actress, I forget. She plays Freeman in the movie. Anyways, the main girl, who's the crazy one, right? She did fantastic. Now, everybody else's acting, in my opinion, was subpar and bad. At least in the beginning, because it's just like kind of, I don't know, there's like something about like acting now. Like when you watch The Exorcist and you see how natural everybody seems to interact with each other, it's just like a different style, you know. It just like very believable in The Exorcist. But like acting in like modern movies and stuff just feels too much like they're acting. Does that make sense? Like it just feels like they're delivering lines that are whatever. But I will say, like, you constantly just feel like a nonstop tension throughout throughout watching Obsession. And to me, that's a compliment. Like I would say there's a lot of moments in it that probably are just as leaving me just as fucked up as like Hereditary did, I guess you could say. Now, is it something that you really need to go back and watch 9,000 times the same way Hereditary was? Probably not, you know, to like pick up on the little nuances and secrets. Probably not. But I'd say, is it fun compared to all modern horror movies as of late? I would say it's definitely up there for sure. Anyways, Strauss Outdoors, thank you for the 5 gifters to Hall, Genius by Birth, Julie, Desiree, Santana Flores, and Lone Star Stinger. Guys, welcome to the Buttersock Call. You now have access to bonus content. Really hope to see Indy Navarrete booked in more movies. I do too. I think she would do a fantastic job. Like, she seems like a really sweet girl, a really thoughtful person in interviews. Very beautiful, and you know, like, but like, and honestly, I would say even like in the preamble before she like, you know, becomes a crazy person, like, I would say like she was the best actress. Like, you know, her acting just felt the most believable. So I think, whereas this is kind of a great breakout movie, she's definitely, I think, destined for like larger roles down the road. What exactly that's going to be, I guess we'll see, you know. But can you watch it online for free? You probably can find it somewhere. I mean, I'm not telling you to pirate or anything like that, but honestly, I feel like the guy Curry who directed it, he seems like he's just, I mean, I think they made $100 million already, like off of a $750,000 budget. So pretty fucking cool, if you ask me. And it sounds like he's got like the next 3 years of like projects all booked up. And I think he's also doing like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot as well. So long time no see. How you been, partner? What do you think of the SGA flopping? SGA, wait. SGA flopping. What is that? SGA. Oh, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, NBA Finals. Oh yeah, I don't watch that, but that's kind of one of the sadder aspects of why I don't really watch the NBA, because it just feels fake to me. And feel, you know what I mean? And like the flopping kind of reminds me of like soccer. I can't stand it. I can't stand like the fact that like pretending to get knocked over, pretending to fall and get hurt is somehow part of the game. Like I just have no respect for that, and so I just don't really give a shit. But I should make a movie. I would love to, man. I mean, I have literally no fucking clue where to start or what to do, but who knows? Maybe I can message Curry and be like, "Hey, man, how did you do that? Hey, how did you do that? Tell me." Okay. Soccer was not always like that, though. It's just this generation that started that crap. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's the same in the NBA as well. Like everybody in the NBA just has like the world's biggest head, and then they play just enough to like not miss out on their contract, and then I don't know. I don't give a fuck. And then sports. The fact that like sports is all rigged as well, with the like all that mafia leaks and that kind of shit. Like I just don't. It's just so it's so sad. Like this was the first year watching the NFL too that I was like, this just doesn't feel right. Like something's really fucking off, and it's making me just a little sad, because I get it, bread and circus, but I like this bread and circus. It's like it's politics that's supposed to be fake and gay, not our sports. What's my thought on baseball? Sadly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I like playing baseball a little bit, hitting balls, chewing tobacco, spitting, scratching my nuts, etc. But like fucking the game itself is so boring. Wendigoon released an NBA draft conspiracy vid recently. Sports is hella rigged. That's awesome. Alright, friends, be good, be well. I'll get the rest of these stories edited and we'll get up on Patreon for you, so keep an eye out for that. When this video comes out, it'll be like true scary stories about betrayal. Be sure to watch it right when it comes out. It helps to kind of push the video out. Would love that. I'd love that for you. I would love that for all of you. How brainwashed is your average sports bar on game night? How brainwashed is your average sports bar on game night? I mean, just how it is. I don't know why. It just seems like everyone's like further and further into like degeneracy. Like all the things that I thought like our society was sort of ascending from, like losing interest in stuff, decentralizing from entertainment. Now it just seems like, Taylor Swift is a god, and like sports betting is like normal for like young people to do. It's all just, so much of it just seems like it's getting worse and worse. And, maybe that's just the spirit of the times right now, and you can't really fight it. I mean, I'm not that much different. I'm just the same old NPC as everybody else, but maybe the main character will show up soon. I hope. Anyways, good night, guys. Love you. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.